timer is timing. This is here. I click into the game. Where did we leave off? I don't know. Hello, Gab. Good evening. Surprise! It's Ghostpia today. There was a change. I don't know what happened to Novell, but I'm glad it did. He is tired, apparently, and pieced out of 13 Sentinels pretty much as soon as he got home. I tried to talk him into doing 13 Sentinels. It did not work, but it's Ghostpia time. If you appreciate what I did for you. I do, Fusion! It's rare that I receive a Bina in my DMs, and I'm thrilled about it. I assume that's what you're talking about. Hello, Pink. Welcome. I was not prepared for this today. That was it? Yes. I mean, I appreciate anything Project Moon someone wants to send my way. I'm not gonna complain. I want to get my grubby little hands on as much content as I can. I'm really happy for you, Sans. What if I sent you Hakma Impreg? I don't. Does that exist? I don't think so. Hello, Kiro. Welcome. Because I feel like wasn't I the first person to do Ruina Impreg, or is it just Chested? I was only speaking hypothetically. Oh, so you're gonna put that out there, but you're not gonna put the work in to try to find it, huh? No. Look, you don't have to worry about your search history. Just open an incognito tab. You'll be fine. I just can't believe there's come well, I was gonna say willingly had to Google Impreg, but it was, I guess you could argue it was willingly. Also with that, I did what a friend in another server constantly does with me, where they'll send me some slightly racy yet still fairly innocuous fan art. And then upon further inspection, boom, they draw porn. That sounds about right. Hello, Ryosuke. Would you get a Project Moon wound tattoo? No? Now, would I get a Project Moon related tattoo in general? Yes, absolutely. 100%. My first tattoo was gonna be Emil from Nier, but now... You know those little... I guess you probably don't if you haven't played Ruina. You know those little, like, sigil thingies that are right next to the floors in Ruina? Some of those would make sick tattoos. And I'm just eyeing that cool little viney chalice with the eyes, you know, Netsox, and I'm like, it's basically a tattoo already. Also, I went to the eye doctor today, and I'm getting new glasses at a higher prescription. That's tragic. You could also design one yourself. You do art and shit. Well, that's true, but I don't know if I could ever create something that I'm so satisfied with that I would want it tattooed on my body. It's not possible, right? So are we gonna address the allegations? What allegations this time? What now? What now? There's your end goal of making art then. No such thing. The further I go along, the more I realize that that is a goalpost that just moves further and further and further. I don't think there will ever be a time where I'm actually satisfied with what I make. I think that's kind of the nature of an artist, though. I've never seen that before, Kiro. Tattooing your own art sounds narcissistic? I don't know, I don't think so. The fact it's probably your fault more impreg is happening everywhere, that is clearly an act of nature. That's not on me. Maybe I was just swept up in the the force of nature that is impreg. Do you ever think about it like that? There can be an end goal to making art. It's just that there's also a lengthy post game. It's about reaching your little goal so that you can throw the goalpost even further away, and then you get to that one, and then you throw that one away. It's very satisfying. Okay, I'm gonna not stall for like how long did I stall for last time? Way too fucking long. Did you ever watch Dirk Gently Holistic? I haven't watched much of anything lately. Basically just Freerin and Dungeon Meshi. That's about the only thing that I've been watching. Everything else, I've just been doing art and playing Limbus Company. I feel Novell keeps making me play Limbus Company because the Refraction Railway is gonna be like gone, or this one is gonna be gone in like you know, a handful of days. And he wants it done. He's been stuck on a clam, and I beat the clam, and then I beat the next guy, and then the fucking fire moth wrecked my shit, so then we have to go like 3 steps. Anyway, he's been like putting me to work playing Limbus Company, which is crazy to me. That shouldn't be possible. Of course, he gets stuck on the clam. Well, he's the one who made me beat the clam in the first place, and I beat the clam, and then I beat the next boss, and then the fire moth was irritating. Limbus is your new 9 to 5. I mean, honestly, I missed my chance to get the Ishmael I wanted. Did you want Captain Ishmael? The whole discourse with Cloud and Tifa and Aerith online is ridiculous. What, there's discourse? Watch Bravern, watch Bravern, watch Bravern. Well, assuming that GIF that was shared earlier is in fact representative of Bravern, that's tragic. I mean, well, the good thing about, you know, Project Moon at the very least, or Limbus Company, is that there are ways to get IDs and egos that you've missed. So, you know, you just gotta do a little grinding. Well, Fusion, it now has my interest. Even bigger arguments compared. The arguments that's been happening. I don't even think we've completely finished the story for Kanto 5. What is it, 5 or is it 6? I think it's 5. Thank God for Gen Love, that guy. Look. I see ruinous stuff and I'm just like, yes, yes, there's more of us. Okay, now I'm gonna play the game. I'm gonna play the game. Resume. I'm doing it right now. Still don't believe he's not your sock puppet. I feel like Fusion usually gets the difference between your and your correct. So unless he's so clever to change his grammar, I don't know. Yeah, I would like to, Polio. I'm very excited for Heathcliff's story. Ishmael's chapter really made me like Heathcliff, even though it made me not like her. So I have that going for me. I'm very excited. He just wants to impress his lady. I love that. I love Heathcliff. Apparently Tifa never loved Cloud and stuff like that. I don't know enough about Final Fantasy VII to know if that's true or not. Although, isn't that just up to interpretation in the first place? Is that even worth arguing about? Anyway. Stop talking. Focus. There's a game to play. Okay, okay, how's this? Please work. 1 second later, Alexei clacks the entire key on his keyboard. The enter key. Oh, wow. I should have glanced at Anya, who's sitting next to him. She nods. I plug my ears with my index fingers. Why does this keep happening? He said, "Graw!" I can't graw that convincingly. No stall more. It wasn't Zappa. It also wasn't Dizzy. It was Eva, the hot key lady. I forgot about the key lady. I am a fan of the gigantic key. Thanks to my makeshift earplugs, I don't have to expose my ears to Alexei's shrieks directly. After several repetitions of the cycle, I've learned how to deal with it. Everything was going smoothly up until the body movement test. Both Alexi and Anya said as much, and they never looked like they had reached a dead end. However, ever since that little violent incident and my subsequent conversation with Yoru, progress just hasn't been going well. That said, it's not because of damage to the parts during the scuffle or anything. In fact, the only damage I managed to inflict, with Yoru's help, was some minor warping of the leg frame. Rather, the issue here is that once the hardware implementation was mostly complete, Lexi wanted to do a software test, but then the hole in the ghost pocket effect caused Lexi's code to disappear. Ever since we started coming here, Les has been disappearing and in a lower frequency, but nonetheless, things are still disappearing one by one on the software. I can't talk. On the software side, which is causing Alexi headaches. Since we can see the parts, we can consciously be aware of their existence and presence, but programs have no physical form and are incomprehensible to us. So it's hard to be aware of them. At least that's the theory as to why code keeps disappearing. But Alexi just cynically said, I just have to write the code faster than it disappears, and spent days on end typing up a storm programming. However, with every test, some part of the program would go missing and the entire unit would stop moving, causing him disappointment, despair, and... Damn it! I'm gonna go back to the trenches. Progress 53 HP. Are you talking about the Queen of Hatred, Sans? I believe in you. I know you can do this. Like, progress as in you've only gotten 53 HP off, or you've gotten her down to 53 HP, in which case. Proud of you. You got this. Ooh. See, that's the type of margin that's basically just down to luck. So that more or less means that whatever strategy you're using will probably work. Yeah! I can't brag about having beaten the Queen of Hatred because I did not. But if Novell can do it, and if, Pink can do it, then Sans can do it. I believe in him. Damn. Fusion has no confidence in you, Sans. He screams shamefully. Maybe things would have gone better if Yoru didn't go home. I pull my fingers out of my ears and speak out to Anya. I don't know, it's not like we can force her to stay, though. True, but still. After our bonfire conversation, Yoru walked back with me to Alexi's house, but she had this to say about his project. I just can't support it, no matter what. I'm sorry. She declined to help and instead went back home. I didn't stop her, of course. And that brings us to the present. The mood in the lab isn't good, but I'm optimistic. Somehow, I just know they'll find a solution. Alexi's just that skilled of an engineer. That portable otaku guard was a... Hi, Wolfies. Putting Pink on the same level as Novella's nuts, did he grow a brain with Ruina? Yeah, I think. Also, strategy. Use one person as a damage spun and have the other two beat her down. Hey man, if it works. It was a pretty high quality piece of tech, after all. The front doorbell rings. That's the first time I've heard that sound from the inside. Feels more formal than the doorbell at my place. I'll go answer it. Anya trots off to the entrance, leaving the hallway door open. Gleh! For some reason, Anya yelps, giving me deja vu. Oh, right. It's like when I first met Clara. Is she back? Since it's a big house, the entrance is far away, so I can't make out what they're talking about. I decide to wait. Oh. I regret my optimism when several seconds later, men wearing coats march into the lab. Are we gonna get the guns out? Guns a-blazing? Is that what's gonna happen here? How am I today? I'm pretty good. I think it's really telling the fact that Novell grew a brain with Ruina that any amount of thought into a game gets attributed to the Ruina brain, his only brain. Them's the facts. I beat a boss Novell needed a guide for on my own. Wait. Are you talking about, Big Bird? Because Novell did beat that one just fine. It was only when we got to the floor realization that he was getting his ass handed to him. Yeah, so it was for Bina and Gebra's floor realizations. Those are the only ones we used guides for. It's been working, it's just I always run out of light. Do I really need cards that give light, or am I doing something wrong? Yes, you need cards that give light. Huh? Hey, Pink, look. If you do the floor realization without a guide, you will have it. Yeah, you need a light restoration, Sans, or you're gonna be fucked. Alexi, would you come with us for a moment? There's 5 men, large men. I can't deal with them while protecting Alexi and Anya at the same time. I grind my teeth. They have gigantic titties. Why are you ugging, Sans? You need to learn how to restore light or the entire game is going to fuck you, Sans. Like, it's gonna be over. So use this as a learning experience because you are not getting away without a light restoration strategy. It ain't happening. Hey, what are you accusing Alexi of? Anya rushes in after the men. Gigantic titties! Goddamn! You are abusing technology in order to blaspheme God, are you not? The man who appears to be the leader, presses Alexi with a firm voice. He glares at Alexi. I can't help but follow his gaze and look at him too. He already looked pale due to stress and lack of sleep, but now he looks even paler. He's even whiter than a ghost. He reminds me of the worn-out bar of soap in my bathtub. That's an image, but I understand it completely. I'm already getting fucked. How much harder am I gonna get fucked with that one? Sans, buddy. Yeah, you'll want to figure that one out. You need light restores. A decent... Hello, Blackjack. I go away and come back still talking about titties. Welcome to, whenever I'm handling regretful Twitcher. This is very me. Had like 3 different light restore cards at any point. Yup. If you have really good light restores and a really good draw, at the very least, you're going to be able to keep drawing the more powerful cards that you're lacking because of your light restores. I don't remember struggling with the sweepers too much. But I don't know, maybe I just struggled. Okay, I'm sorry. How did you know? No more talking about Ruina. Focus. We have eyes everywhere. Anya jumps in front of the men as if to shield Alexi from those eyes. Hey, Alexi is free to research what he wants in his own free time, isn't he? I back her up without a moment's delay. That's right. What right does the church have to complain? So cool. God, I love Ghostpia so much. The church must be stepping in due to my involvement. I thought things had calmed down lately, but maybe I've just been too careless. Either way, it's too late to regret it now. I will answer your questions in order. First, this man is technically an official follower of the church. While he is not a church-going believer, he is still our brother. And since he is our brother, we must have him adhere to our customs. Is that true? Yes, it is true. I am a follower, I understand. I'll come with you, but these ladies... Alexi! Anya shouts. Alexi shuts up. The man quickly interjects in the ensuing silence. Do not take us for liars. As for your other question, this man's workplace, the movie theater, as well as the amusement park are both subsidized by the church. God, I can't read. The workers are also followers of the church, though this fact is not well known. I can hear Anya's murmuring that she didn't know that. This man is both a follower of the church and was given employment by the church, and yet he associates with the ninja that opposes the church. We thus have a right to complain about his actions, do we not? Mr. Alexei, if I kill all of them... Alexei holds his hand out to refuse my suggestion. It's okay, I wasn't expecting the Inquisition, but this might be a test from God. Mr. Inquisitor, may I speak with the priest during my trial? The priest is a compassionate man. I am sure he will listen to your words, no matter how asinine they may be. Okay, I see. Alexei approaches the men with his hands raised. Two of the men immediately frisk him. There's a gun in my pocket. If I prioritize annihilating the enemy, I have fair odds of overall success, though not without sacrifices. But it looks like this is Alexei's problem, if anything. If that's the case, then I've got no reason to needlessly kill these men. Well, I'll be back, eventually. Goodbye, all the code! The church. Thank you, Wolfies. The puppet one, extract fuel, and gee were my life. Yeah, early game, those are great. As soon as we hit charge was my go-to light restores constantly. No one expects the Ghostpia Inquisition. In a moment of hesitation, the men quickly drag Alexei away. We stand stock still in shock in the silent room. I really love alliteration. I respect it. He protected her, didn't he? Anya murmurs, "What are you?" I try to ask, but since my throat's dry, it comes out weird. What do you mean? He probably didn't want to draw attention to his creation by resisting or protesting. Otherwise, they might have destroyed her. Oh, how shrewd. Yeah, he really is shrewd. He might say that he can't love or be loved, but I think he's got some character in that regard. Maybe you're right. He could really use some more confidence, though. Anya laughs weakly before letting out a big sigh. Say, Sayoko. Anya gazes into my eyes and carefully chooses her words. I know it might be shameless of me, but there's something I'd like to ask you. I get impatient and ask her question for her. You want me to save Alexei? Yeah, exactly. I know it's an unreasonable request, so I don't have much money, but I can still pay you what I do have, so... But hold on, Anya, you don't have to pay me. When Anya casually starts bringing up the question of money, I frantically gesture that it won't be necessary. But I'm asking you an unreasonable favor, and this isn't even your problem to begin with, Sayoko. When I raided the church, you brought out the armored vehicle to come rescue me, and I didn't pay you then. I just did that because I wanted to. Anya really is a good girl. I know it for a fact, and I feel it with my heart. I'm sorry, I know I sound weird right now. Maybe she's even too good. I feel like her dedication is going a bit overboard in this whole ordeal. But this is so cool. This isn't your problem to solve, Anya. You're not a ninja, and you don't do whatever it is Pacifica does. Despite all that, you're always doing your best and putting yourself in danger. You're so reliable. Oh, really? That's why I, just want to pay back the favor. I always want to thank you for everything you do, but just saying thank you feels half-hearted, so I never get to say it. I'm running out of air in my lungs, so I take a deep breath before I continue. As you know, there are very few things I'm good at, but I want you to rely on me more. I'll do anything I can for you, Anya. I start running out of the room. I need to chase after those men, the Inquisitors, I believe. I once heard... I stop at the sound of Anya's words. I once heard from a shithead woman who's in that sort of crowd. She said, that's just a group of outcasts. That lonely girl's just trying to force herself in to find a place she belongs. The nerve of her! Anya's voice is full of rage. I don't know the finer details of that interaction, but I can bet it was incredibly frustrating. I mean, sure, we may have just formed a group because we didn't fit into any other groups, In fact, I definitely think that was the case, but so what? Is it wrong to associate with like-minded peers? It's not like we forced ourselves to group up out of desperation, you know? That's why I've made up my mind. This time, it's Anya's turn to run out of breath as she gasps for air. I decided to treasure my friends as much as I can, so that I won't be embarrassed no matter who sees us. If I do that, then nobody can tell me that we're only friends out of necessity, you know? So, shit, I'm so uncool right now. I told myself I'd never talk about this. The tears welling up in Anya's eyes seem almost infectious as tears start to form in my eyes as well. Maybe it's because Anya's so overwhelmingly precious and I don't know how else to express it. Why are you crying? Come on. You're crying too, Anya. And thus, we both cried. I guess when it's just us two without Pacifica or Yo around, we're just a couple of crybabies. Weeping together like this feels so girly and dumb, and yet it's so satisfying. Once the tears have mostly stopped, I give Anya a thumbs up and speak up. I'm off. I'm counting on you. Leave it to me. I sniff as I run. My nose stops dripping. I fling open the front door and dash into the snowy outdoors. Some people from a Pentecostal church knocked on my door earlier today. They offered me a gift bag with a CD and shit. I had to tell them, thanks, but I'm not interested. Then the older lady was like, we just want to spread the news about Jesus. I had to hold back my frustration. Classic. I don't even know what specific sect of Christianity they came from, but I was expecting a package. I assumed that the knock on the door was a package. I waited a little bit to just, wait it out just in case. And I go to answer my door, and they're still there. And they're giving me all these pamphlets and asking me if, my soul's been saved or whatever. And I'm just like, no, I'm not interested. I'm good. And they're just like, well, aren't you upset with all of the unrest in the world? And I'm like, no, I'm good. Bye. I found an 18+ video of someone using the Dune popcorn bucket. That sounds about right. It's not too hard to catch up to the men who are walking. Thankfully, since we're in the outskirts of town, there aren't many buildings to obstruct the view. Outskirts is another one of those words that's like, it's fucked up for me permanently. I see outskirts, I'm like, outskirts! Thanks to the fuel that is Anya's simple, earnest friendship. She's so cool. I'm filled with boundless energy unlike anything I've ever felt before. Basically, it feels a little comically overdramatic as I block the men's path all ninja-like. Hands over, Alexi. You just quietly handed him over a moment ago. Please understand, I'll be okay. Let's just say the situation has changed. She's so cool. I point my gun at the lead inquisitor. We're off to a good start. So you've changed your mind, I see. Do you intend to take this man back even if it requires the use of force? Well, I suppose you could say that. The Inquisitor takes a black rectangular object out of his pocket. I can't help but gasp. No sudden movements! I recognize what it is the Inquisitor took out. A transceiver. Do it! I don't know what came first, the sound or the impact. I pull the trigger out of shock. The recoil hits my whole upper body harder than I expected, causing me to take a few steps back. Why? I thought I'd braced my legs better than that. I get a bad feeling as I look over my shoulder behind me. That's so cool! There's red blood splattered all over the pure white snow. I don't even want to think about it, but I feel my abdomen a little lower than my solar plexus. Oh, come on! They got me. That's so cool! I've been shot, but nobody in front of me even has a gun out. I'm confused for just a second, and I start to process what had happened with surprising composure. I've been sniped. They've got a sniper. Shit! I screwed up! I scream out loud in an attempt to maintain endogenous opioid levels in my brain. Is that how you say that? The pain from a gunshot wound doesn't come immediately. It'll intensify as soon as I let my guard down, so I need to keep myself at a natural high. If you call yourself a sniper, don't aim for the gut. Go for a headshot. One shot, one kill. I shout like an idiot as I use the calm part of my mind to turn out thoughts at high speed. So that's why the Inquisitor's acting so smug. I suppose he's already planned out countermeasures for a ninja like me. If the sniper's been watching me this whole time, they probably saw me climb to the top of a building like some sort of action hero too. How embarrassing. This is so fucking cool, dude. They probably had themselves a chuckle looking at me. I wish I could smack them right now, but I don't even know where they are. I think those thoughts, the snow at my feet, burst into the air. I guess that was a warning shot, as in, I can always shoot you again. I make sure that I've still got a grip on my gun, but I'm not sure I can keep holding it for more than a few dozen seconds. My gut's bleeding even worse than I thought. If I make any moves, I'll only reach my time limit that much quicker. I hate to admit it, but there's no way I can win. Go, ninja! I'll be okay, he says. Alexi's hair-raising shriek snaps me back to my senses. He's right, I need to get moving. I back away, keeping my sights set on the Inquisitor. Even if, for just formality's sake, once I've gotten enough distance, I turn around. I back away, keeping my sights set on the Inquisitor, even if for just I've already read that. Once I've gotten enough distance, I turn around and hide under the cover of a building. I find a conveniently placed garbage can and hide behind it. That's better than nothing, at least. I close my eyes, and there's no indication that anyone's pursuing me. I guess they don't feel like finishing me off, which is a bit of a relief. That said, I don't know where the sniper is, nor do I know if they can still see me. I don't even know if there's only one sniper. I can feel my consciousness fading. Alright, if I can just forget about this injury, then I'll be as good as healed. It's worth a shot as long as I don't freeze to death beforehand. I feel my 5 senses fade away. Even my sense of time.
Miss Ninja! Miss Ninja, are you okay?
My consciousness suddenly snaps back to reality. I recognize that grating, saccharine voice. It's Clara. As my consciousness returns, so too does the hot, burning pain of the gunshot wound in my gut. I groan.
You're badly injured. You need first aid.
Thanks to this asshole seeing my wound, the entire disappearing process has been reversed. I'm fine, just leave me alone. Go do something else.
I can't. I need to treat you.
There's no point. I'm a ghost after all. Who cares if I die?
I care. I found it.
After finding bandages or something in her bag, Clara sits down next to me and leans over to inspect my wound. Her sugary scent frustrates me. Clara, why do you care so much about us? It's not like you need to. There's tons of other people out there who love you. There's no deep meaning behind those words. I just want to get through to her that there's no point in her getting close to me.
But the priest told me to.
It was probably some sermon about the importance of friendship or something. What did he say?
He said that I was the only one who could save your souls. He said he expected great things from me.
I almost write it off as foolish nonsense before I make a sudden realization. I focus my hazy consciousness and reflect on the words Clara said. Clara, why did you go to Alexi's house?
Because the priest told me that you guys were all up to something at the movie projectionist's house.
I can feel my heart start pounding. Did you tell the priest what happened during your visit?
I sure did. The priest is nice and gives me lots of advice.
Yeah, ma'am? What?
Every day when I hang out with you guys, I always have a friendship review with the priest.
As she says that, Clara tries to stick a bandage on my wound. I grab her hands without thinking. The bandage flutters down to the ground. You consciously did all of that, and yet you still don't understand what it is you've done. Are you kidding me? Why did Clara approach us? Surely it was because she was a simple-minded idiot who felt an odd sense of camaraderie toward us. At least that's what I thought. But that wasn't the case at all. Clara's a moving wiretap, a breathing surveillance camera sent by the priest, or in simpler words, you're a spy. Words of Alexi's girlfriend spread from Clara to the church, thus setting the Inquisition in motion. The priest used the power of his faith to raise this thoughtless, almost hopelessly optimistic girl into a splendid spy. Damn. I was gonna say, snitches get stitches, but like, you know, that's happened a lot already. I felt that the church had been pretty hands-off lately, but they had actually been surprisingly thorough in their surveillance. Come to think of it, when we met Alexi, he was working at the church-funded movie theater, and he's a follower, albeit a stray one. In that case, it should be a given that some of his coworkers might be followers too. We watched several of those coworkers walk by as we waited for Alexi. At least one nosy follower must have reported our conversation with Alexi to the church. After hearing that report, the church, that is the priest, must have had some doubts about it. Around the time the report was made, Anya and I disappeared off the streets. I should assume that the priest got word of our disappearance too. With all this evidence piled up, it's only natural that the priest, or at least somebody else, would come to the conclusion that Alexi's working on something with the ninja and the repair workshop apprentice. The church must know about Alexi's engineering skill. Furthermore, since he's a heretic, it's only natural that the church would feel threatened by him potentially leading a violent revolt against its religious authority. At least that's how I think religions work. That's precisely how religions work, Sayoko. Right after we contacted the heretic, we vanished like smoke, but that should be enough. That should be enough cause and panic. That should be enough cause panic in the church. Okay. That was just... Oh no, look at her. She's so stupid. Stupid face. The priest calmly responded to the panic by sending in Clara. After some complications, Clara broke her neck, revived, and returned to the priest to report all the details to the priest. Now, speaking about Clara breaking her neck, why did she even have that can of fuel to offer the robot? Why didn't that raise more alarms with me? Clara knew we were making something there. Her idea of an appropriate gift was that can of fuel.
I did nothing. I didn't do anything wrong.
I let go of her pale, slender wrist. I despise you. A certain sort of despair drives me to speak in the coldest voice I can manage. Clara has been an irritating pest, but now I realize that somewhere in my heart, I had started to grow fond of our semblance of a relationship. You innocently hide behind a facade of goodwill as you spread the ill will of others. As an intermediary, all the while feigning ignorance to protect yourself. I tremble at the thought that it was all just a ruse. I'm mad. Maybe a little sad, too. You're disgusting, filthy. You're far worse than the priest himself. To berate myself for my own stupidity, I have to act as coldly as possible to do what I need to do.
I don't know what you're talking about. Just the other day I came to help because I was worried about you, remember? I'm not a spy.
No, you knew. You just pretended not to. You've been pulling the wool over our eyes, so your shepherd would praise you like a good little sheep. But you couldn't bear the guilt of deceiving someone, so you deceived yourself this whole time. I think the endogenous opioid levels in my brain are rising again. The pain has faded, and all I feel is a boiling heat like magma churning in my stomach. Clara cries pathetically, her nose dripping, but I don't feel a thing watching her. I proceed with the execution. The execution of a relationship. I feel like something similar has happened before. In this town, nobody dies, but if you kill a relationship, they're dead to you. Don't you dare show your face in front of me or my friends ever again. I'm never talking with you again. I won't hurt you. I'll just ignore you. No information for spies. Clara tries to say something, but I cut her off. Go away.
But I tried so hard.
Go away! When I shout, sparks start to fly in my eyes. Maybe I strained myself too much. I can't even hear Clara sobbing anymore. So maybe I'm starting to lose my hearing too. Soon enough, not even my sense of time can drag me down. My consciousness disappears. I feel so downhearted, but more than that, I'm driven by a sense of duty. So I reach for the doorknob, only to realize the door's locked, until I break it down and I'm free to go inside. After a tragic defeat and my separation from Clara, I end up right back where I started at Alexi's house. I slip out of the hallway and head into the familiar living room and enter the lab. Sorry, Anya, I got sniped. So I was thinking of getting a bulletproof vest this time. I feel so miserable. There's no way I can speak on the spot here. So I say lines I've thought up beforehand. Oh no, I keep burping. Do you think Lo sells them at her store? If so, I'd like to borrow some money, so, It's not that I've forgotten the words I was going to say next. It's because I notice a frowning Yoru typing up a storm, and beside her, Anya stands up as she notices me and shrugs her shoulders. I'm definitely curious as to what's going on here, but there's something I have to do first. Anya, I'm sorry, I failed. I tell her the details of how I was dealt a pathetic defeat by the Inquisition. It feels especially humiliating after I confidently ran my mouth. I think the only reason I didn't cry was because Yoru was right there. It's not your fault, Sayoko. You couldn't have predicted all of that. Let's think up a plan together, the three of us. Anya looks towards Yoru, our third member. I join her, but Yoru doesn't look away from the monitor for even a moment as she types away at Alexi's keyboard. I can't help but find her focus ghastly. Yoru, what are you doing?
Chatting.
Chatting with who?
With Alex Pride and Joy. Oh, come on. If you keep saying things like that, I'll pull out her motherboard.
Could you believe that Yoru edited Alex's unfinished personality data and perfected it? That said, since her body's gone, she's just running in the computer. So it's like she has no body, but she has a soul. I guess you could say that. Yoru's talking with her soul, and apparently she...
Psycho, this girl keeps begging me to go see Alexi.
But why? I'm curious to see what sort of conversation they're having, so I peek at the display over Yoru's shoulder. She's so cute. Oof. It's quite different from what you'd usually expect from an email or chat client. It's a black screen with a continuous string of green text that's not even broken down into paragraphs. It's so plain it's vomit-inducing. I can't read this. It's not that I can't read any of it, I can barely make out what Yoru's typing in, but the messages that are apparently hers look like patterns of incomprehensible symbols.
Don't sweat it, I can't read it either. She says, Alec must be allowed to continue working on me with my intelligence. It should be simple to persuade the church to prepare my physical body at once.
Even after it's been explained to me, it still just looks like patterns of symbols to me. There's definitely more to Yoru than meets the eye. She knows things that are unfathomable to us, and by us, I mean all of Ghostkind.
She's kind of full of herself, huh? Maybe she gets it from Alexi.
Prepare her body, huh? Easier said than done. Anya groans.
I ruminate once more on the fact that Alexi's created a consciousness, a whole personality within the confines of a computer. It's kind of dizzying. There's an artificial consciousness that can think, feel, and desire just like me, casually sitting there as if it's no big deal. Things have always been like this, almost sinfully revolutionary things just casually existing in our presence. If I were to simply unplug the computer and destroy it on a whim, her consciousness would surely break too. Her existence would end as suddenly as it had begun. How fragile. But there's something nostalgic, something precious about that fragility. I'm sure Yoru's the only one who can understand what she wants. Say, Yoru. Sorry, I don't think I can do it either. It looks like the personality data drivers are missing. Several internal parts must have disappeared when Mr. Halleck was taken away too. I'm at a dead end here. There's nothing I can do about what's disappeared. Is that so? I really do want to do something for her, Sayoko, I swear. So there are things even Yoru can't do, huh? She's not omnipotent. There are some jars she just can't open after all. Wait, no, I should stop judging every little thing Yoru does. It's so petty. If only we could enable her to do what she wants. I know better than anyone else just how fast that body of hers can move. If we could, I can't read, oh my god. If we could successfully install her into her body, she should be able to free Alexi with brute force. But as long as she can't move, she's helpless. Personally, I was planning on preparing for a second charge as soon as possible, but I guess deciding what to do with her should take priority. I'm useless when it comes to solving these sort of problems. I suddenly feel so worn out, so I take a seat on a nearby box. Whoa. Are they gonna put her in the cleaning robot? That would be so cute. I jump up when I hear a beeping sound. Oh, it's the cleaning robot. The thing Alexi and Anya worked together to create. I thought I'd broken it, but Anya assures me it's okay. Just to make sure, we watch for a few seconds after a red light turns green, and then... Eureka! That's so cool. I love Ghostpia. Yoru suddenly shouts. She then starts pounding away at the keyboard even harder. Anya and I rush over to the monitor to see what she's typing. I love that! That's such a good little animation. Hello, Burb. How is it that every time I look on Twitch, I end up at one of your streams? How did I even get here? I don't know. Just look at the pretty pictures. Look at them. They're so pretty. You should go inside the vacuum cleaner. After a moment, the incomprehensible pattern of characters starts filling the screen again. Stop complaining. Yoru replies. The response comes a moment later. It's even longer this time. Having free will doesn't mean you will get everything you want for free, you know. Likewise, Yoru's reply gets longer too. She gets a longer response with a shorter wait. Arguing in chat feels so unproductive. Boy, ain't it. Anya murmurs. Whatever, I'm gonna do it whether you like it or not. After typing in that message, Yoru takes her eyes off the monitor and turns to us. The monitor behind her fills with a response, then another and yet another before Yoru speaks up as if to drown out the text. Oh, cool colors, right? She unironically said, Eureka, I love Yoru. She's great! Oh wait, are you seriously gonna stuff that shitty personality of hers into this vacuum cleaner? I'm fed up with her, so I think I will. It's got way fewer parts than a humanoid robot, and it'll take out the hassle of bipedal walking, so that's 2 bugs with 1 stone. I mean, sure, but it'll still take a hell of a long time. Well, don't worry about that. I'm sure I can get it done before it's time to eat, which is why I want to ditch the slow keyboard and use a more direct input device. Really? I'm sure there's something around here, somewhere in this house. As Anya leaves the room to look for a direct input device or whatever, I call out to her. I'm completely useless here right now, so I need to do what it is I can do. Anya, I'll go to Alexi and... Anya turns around. The indescribable look on her face has me confused. What's with the awkward expression? It must be because I failed to meet her expectations after all. I'm sorry. You've surely suffered a lot because of me. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't get ahead of myself like that. It's so tacky of me. No, I'm the one who should apologize. I failed to save Alexi. I need to try again.
Poor Sans. You're really going through it, huh?
No, you don't have to go. Not now, at least. I tried to put in a but, only for Anya to keep going with full control of the conversation. You must be tired from all the action, right? You should rest. You look exhausted. Besides, I agree with yours thinking. We'll see how that pans out soon enough. We'll see. Yes, so let's just watch Yoru and make sure she doesn't slack off. I'm a little concerned about how Anya said we'll see, but I decide not to go against her. I decide to sit down in a nearby chair and blankly watch as Yoru types on the keyboard. I should be feeling tense right now, but for some reason I let out a yawn. There's not really much I can do to help here, is there? I don't think there is, at least. Okay, done. I wake up with the sound of Yoru's voice. Uh-oh, I fell asleep. My body feels so powerless, as if my batteries had run out. My eyelids are so heavy I can't even tell if they're open. I try to brace my legs and stand up, but fail. All I end up doing is letting out a groan. It's at that moment that I realize just how exhausted I am. Yoru speaks up when she hears the noise. Anya calls out to me and reaches out her hand. Thank you. I'm okay. Okay. I can't even speak clearly. How embarrassing. I notice something standing behind Anya, looking down at me. Is that Pacifica? I strain my barely openable eyes. No, it doesn't look like Pacifica. She doesn't have black hair. And this person's an adult. It's someone I know. That person suddenly smiles. I recognize that smile. After all, I've seen it in a movie. That's so cool. It's her, the beloved woman Alexi was trying to create. I gasp. My head slowly starts to wake up, and like magic, my drowsiness disappears. Yes, that's her, but not exactly. To be more specific. The hell? I get up and stare at what lies before my eyes. Oh my god.
That's, I wasn't picturing that, to be honest. I was just thinking it'd be a talking vacuum cleaner, but instead, this is a little more disturbing, quite frankly. Skippity GF, no.
It's the cleaning robot we were talking about earlier, but what was once a smooth, flat surface is now the uncanny valley of a woman's head. Her eyes are shut like she's sleeping, and of course she's not actually smiling. In any case, it doesn't look like it was just glued on there as a joke. The base of the neck is attached to the robot chassis with some sort of adapter. The head parts hadn't disappeared, so I figured it'd be a waste not to use them. The neck also uses standardized parts, so attaching it was doable, and that doesn't mean it wasn't tough. I was able to manage with Anya's help. We're done! Yoru looks a little tired, all tangled up in some mysterious cable, but her eyes glitter as she lets out a victory roar. I'm so tired! All that's left to do is turn her on. Done? What about debugging? Anya asks with concern in her voice. She sounds a little tired too. Yoru did say that she got Anya's help. Nobody debugs anymore. That's what all the cool developers say. They definitely don't. Looks like a lot has happened while I was asleep. I must have been out for a long time. My stomach starts to gurgle in hunger as if to prove just how long it's been. I'm sure I can get it done before it's time to eat. Okie dokie, let's start the installation. Yoru loudly types on the keyboard, starting the installation.
I love that. What are you talking about? This is clearly the ideal female form. What peak performance looks like? We'll see about that.
I look at the back of the cleaning robot. It's connected to the computer with a thick cable that looks like a water pipe. Several lights of different colors flicker on and off on the cleaning robot before the light shuts off.
I love Sayoko's face there. It's so good. Beep.
It's that same beep I heard before. Beep, 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 beep. Now that's a new one. This time it lets out a bunch of short, rapid beep beep beeps. It's a little annoying.
She clearly looks like she just woke up. She really does. That's a very specific emotion that's being portrayed, and it's so accurate.
But despite all the noise, her head's still asleep.
Looks like everything's going just peachy. See, you can trust me.
After Yoru says that, the beeping changes to a more musical pattern. And then suddenly... her eyes open. She looks somehow gentle, just like in the movie, but not passive. Her eyes are brimming with confidence. Even someone with hazy memory like me can tell that her image is a perfect reproduction.
I just want to stop burping.
She has the youthful looks only available to women on the cusp of adulthood, but she also has a certain sort of refined dignity that makes you want to protect her. Anyone who sees her would have the word fascinating burned into their minds, regardless of the details of what exactly they'd find fascinating about her. She's so fascinating it's almost destructive. As a result, the state of her body below the neck is such a pity. Suddenly, she loses her complexion and nearly tears her own head off. It looks like she's finally realized what's happened to her. She's been fused into a vacuum cleaner.
Congratulations!
Yoru speaks from behind her. Her neck turns at an inhuman angle and speed to look at Yoru. I love this. She lets out the lowest, heaviest beep yet. She then tackles Yoru with a force that no cleaning robot should ever need.
Gah! She says. That's so cute. There's so much animation in this chapter. It's kind of crazy.
As Yoru lies sprawled out helplessly on the floor, the robot relentlessly pinches her face with an arm extending out of the chassis. The beautiful girl-faced robot lets out a flurry of wild beeps as she proceeds to physically punish Yoru. This is getting brutal. So she can't talk, huh? She's not built to. Her voice synthesizer module is in her chest, I believe. Oh, I see.
Hey, stop talking and help me out! Ow!
Well, you're just reaping what you sowed. I mean, I get how she feels, but let's leave it at that for now. I nervously approach her. Can you blame me? I've never dealt with a murderous woman-headed vacuum cleaner before. And touch her body. It's cold and metallic. Hard to believe her soul is in something so inorganic. I mean, she wants to go to Alexi, right? We need to plan out how we're going to do that. I decide to change the topic. She lets out a few intermittent beeps that sounds somewhat disappointed. Yoru.
You want me to translate? Sure, if you don't stick the head on, I could have at least strategically disguised myself as a cleaning robot, you know? Thank you, idiot. Ow!
I try to soothe the woman-headed vacuum cleaner as I ask a quite logical question. Why did you do that anyway? I can't see how it was necessary.
That's exactly why I did it. Try straining your side a little bit, see what pops out.
The arm pinching Yoru stops moving. The head puts on an expression of sudden realization and... Whoa, watch it!
Oh my fucking god.
Oh, now try the other side. And the lower left, too.
You heard cheers. The robot beeps in response as arms armed with arms popped out of the vacuum cleaner, just as each weapon more dangerous than the last. Arms armed with arms. God, so fucking good. An electric saw, a blowtorch, an over-the-top machine gun, and I'm not sure what that green light-emitting gun-shaped thing is, but you probably wouldn't want to touch it. The hell did this girl do? So I'm fighting the sweepers, right? Last fight. Why the fuck do I currently have no cards? What happened? Sans, you need cards that make you draw stuff. If you have no cards that are drawing, then you're gonna run out of cards because you have more than one dice currently. If you're that far into the game, I think you should have more than one dice. So when you're using all of your cards on more than one dice, you're gonna run out of cards, which is why you have cards that draw. So that way, when you're using, you're also replacing plus gaining the card that you always get in the next turn. Although sometimes you will end up with no fucking cards. That does happen. So, yeah, you should make sure you have draw handled. Light and draw are two of your most important things to be paying attention to in Ruina. I was honestly kind of excessive about it because I would have a 0 that restores light and gives charge, and then I would have a light restore that spins the charge. And I would actually have 2 of those, and then I would have 2 things that would at least give me charge. Usually concentration and like golden opportunity is really good, but sometimes I might have 2 concentrations, but those are pretty good cards in the first place. And then I can have something that's going to draw me a bunch of shit, so that way I'm constantly drawing my powerful cards. Anyway, Sans, those are very, very important. You need to make sure you have draw, and you need to make sure you have light, or you're gonna run out of options. And you don't like running out of options, you need options. Didn't you make that thing, Anya?
Yeah, I did install the self-defense weapons, but the processor's throughput meant only one weapon could be used at a time. Plus, it only worked in low precision mode.
That's why I gave it a flamethrower, since those don't exactly need precision, Anya adds in a whisper.
I figured it'd be good enough for self-defense. I mean, its main function is cleaning after all, but the situation has clearly changed.
Anya lets out a gasp when I ask what's wrong. She smiles and speaks unusually quickly as if she had been waiting for me to ask. Also, Sans, if you can have cards that serve more than one purpose, that's gonna help you a lot too. So sometimes you'll have light restores that also draw, so if you have something like that available, that'll be really helpful. I don't know, a lot of people don't go for the 0 light restores, but I'm a fan of those. I like those because they're good for one-sided attacks. They're not very good for clashing, but they are good for one-sided attacks, so I find them useful.
The technologically advanced head Alec made is attached to it, so she's using the head's main processor. It's an insanely high-powered monster-class processor necessary to reproduce the vast number of functions of a human body. A freaking course that can control the weapons with ultra high precision.
The robot must have heard as she lets out a high-pitched beep. And then a gunshot, a certain figurine placed on Alexi's work desk gets blown away.
Now she can use her installed weapons with 100% efficiency. No, considering her capability to autonomously strategize, she can use them 9,999% efficiency!
To you, in universe, Ruina combat is like a card game battle, think Yu-Gi-Oh! Between you and your opponent. So, the way it works in Ruina is you use the power of the books to assume the powers and consequently the body of the person who you murdered to obtain their book. Those books have pages in them, and they, are able to become weapons and things like that. So it's kind of not a literal we're throwing cards at each other thing, but more like they're absorbing the power of the book. Oh, do I think they play card battles? I don't know, probably. Beeping overlaps with Anya's excited voice, the robot's laughing. I can tell that much by her facial expressions. After looking at her face, I can only hear the inorganic beeping as laughter.
Well, that's pretty much it. You're welcome. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Oh my god.
Well, that just goes to show how precise those weapons are.
The robot hovers somewhat gracefully out of the room, apparently satisfied and exacting revenge for being made into an uncanny, woman-headed vacuum cleaner. Where's she going? I guess it should be obvious. I call out to the cleaning robot's back, or is it called a stern? I feel like I have to. She stops hovering, then she beeps. That probably means what? I'm glad to meet you. Good luck. I didn't think of anything to say, so I ended up working out some polite but awkward platitudes. I wonder what's gotten into me. After a few seconds, she lets out a staggered 3 or 4 beeps. Without waiting for my response, she starts moving again. I guess she doesn't want to talk anymore. What did she say? When I ask her for a translation, Yoru lets out an exhausted sigh.
Something like, you're a good kid. Dumb, but good. Oh, and I'll talk with you again if I feel like it.
So that's what she's like, huh? I like her. So it's like in-universe combat is like card battles, but with books. They play card games in Yu-Gi-Oh! Also, like in the beginning of Yu-Gi-Oh! When it was played on 2 school desks. I mean, but like, Ruin is not like a card game. Rather, they're not playing a game per se. They're just using the abilities of the person who they've killed, essentially. Which is horrible and terrible because technically, they're kind of still in there, you know? Like, it's complicated.
That's what she's like.
She's kind of rude, huh? It's like she's on a high horse, a high hovering horse. But even so, that just goes to show you that she's got an individual personality, at least. I think that's important to note. Okay, so do we follow her? Anya speaks up as if I'm thinking to myself. I don't think most people are pleased to potentially relive their most intense moments and their deaths. I mean, I wouldn't be thrilled about it. But if we're talking about things that probably feel pleasure from being in their book and being used, it's gotta be the porcubus, the hallucinogenic flower that canonically Netsuck has in fact sucked on to get high. Apparently he didn't like it according to the art book, so that's fun. That's fun information to have. Netsuck really is a little freak. I love him. Yeah, that seems like the proper thing to do. Well, after we wake up this girl, that is. Would you rather be a Mamiya book or a Ruina book? I want to be a Ruina book. Are you kidding? Anya says that with a bit of a chuckle. I look at the floor to find yours sleeping on the floor. Had until just recently had a robot clean up after it. She must be deathly tired. She did look sleepy now that I think about it.
Maybe we should wait a bit first.
He gave a flower a blowjob, crazy. That's just what he's like. He also expressed an interest in trying the cannibal food. I highly recommend the art book if anyone is actually super into Ruina. I love it. It's really funny. And there's lots of really interesting little tidbits just about the game in general. It's really long though, and we're not even halfway through it. Sorry, but I'm not as gentle with Yoru as you are, Anya. How much is it? I think it was like $20. Maybe less? I'm not sure. Either way, it was very worth it for me. I mean, you also get to see, like, big, high-quality versions of all of the cards, all of the background art. You get to see stuff that was cut from the game, and a lot of really interesting, you know, like, there's a lot of interviews with the devs and stuff. That's how I found out that they were very disappointed. They wanted Tomeri to be really scary, but they felt like that Tomeri turned out too cute, apparently. And they were disappointed in the design. High definition Olga titties? Yup. It sure is there. Anya and I, with Yoru in tow, followed the trail in the snow left by the vacuum cleaner. The excess force of anti-gravity leaves a faint single line in stark contrast to the footsteps left by our bipedal walking. Also, I love that all of the little, like, notes, the margins are, like, they all have unique handwriting for all of the characters. And I love that Netzok has the worst handwriting out of everyone. And Malkith always draws little doodles, like the little chicks and like hearts or a little bear next to all of her stuff. It's so cute. I love it. What a treat. What a delightful little thing to have in my life.
She must be heavy, huh?
I think she's a normal weight. It's fine. Yoru was so tired, I was unable to wake her up no matter how hard I tried. That's why I'm carrying her as we walk. But if you think about it, this might be for the best, considering the difference in stamina between me and Anya. It'd probably be too hard for her.
Anyway, it really feels like that vacuum cleaner has gotten ahead in life, huh?
Ahead in life?
I know it's not exactly the right phrase, but that thing was originally going to be scrapped.
Huh? But it's so amazing.
I may have mentioned this before, but Alec and I made that thing.
I think I remember hearing that.
You see, a rich famous person came to our workshop and commissioned a one-off vacuum cleaner. The offer was pretty generous, so due to certain circumstances, we ended up outsourcing the software to Alec.
Had you met Alexi at all before that point?
Nope, I don't have many personal connections, and his personality is like the embodiment of everything wrong with engineers, you know? I was a little worried if it'd be okay to work with him, but I figured he'd do his job properly.
Yeah. You know, I might actually be undervaluing zero cards. Yup. Well, I mean, keep in mind that zero cards are basically, you know, free. And, you know, since they're free, you're not spending any light. And in fact, if a zero is a light restore, then you're coming out with a net positive. Gotta think, Ruin a player. Think. Alexi certainly is a serious worker at heart, I think. He did go to work on time while we were at his house. But that might have just been a cover so that the church wouldn't find out.
He was so skilled, it came as a shock even to me. When you're that skilled, I can think of oh my god, I can kind of think of I can kind of let a few personality flaws slide, I guess. He eventually opened up to me a bit, so I teased him about how overly serious he was at first.
Anya stops walking and looks at me directly.
Then he had the gall to say, I realized I could take it easy if I just didn't look at you as a woman, so I hit him with a wrench.
She gestures the motion of hitting something with a blunt object before letting out a cackle. He definitely is that sort of guy, huh?
Yeah, so we finished the cleaning robot, but as you'd expect, the customer demanded a retake as soon as he saw it. He wanted a more luxurious functionality, or a more chic design. A bunch of worthless complaining, basically. But business is business, so we asked if we could fix it with minimal adjustments, but...
Anya, realizing that she'd stopped walking, starts taking a few steps before continuing to talk, her eyes fixed ahead of her. That's so pretty. I love that.
Alec was there with us, and he suddenly burst into tears, saying, "How cruel can you be?" Ugh. Oof, indeed. Makes you think he's fragile, right? That's what I thought too, but then he said, "How can you say that in front of her? Don't you care how she feels?" He wasn't crying for himself. It's not like the vacuum cleaner had an AI at that point, did it? Of course not, but he seriously snapped at the lack of consideration for her feelings. That's crazy, right? He was crying too. Is there something wrong with his head? Anya talks the way a boy talks about a comic book hero. That is, without a hint of scorn, just admiration, trust, and praise. Furthermore, he said, getting up from his chair, "This robot is like a child built by me and this other engineer. Do you insult children in front of their parents? Do you?" It sounds like Alexei was shouting through the tears, indignant that the customer was mad when he was the one who should be mad instead. Anya continues, "You dress so classy for someone who acts so trashy." That's beautiful. The customer got mad enough to leave without paying. I understand how I felt, but I'm impressed. Felt. Oh my, I need to go to bed, I think. I need to lay down. And I'm impressed he could say all that. Can't say it was effective, though. Honestly, if it were me, I might have thrown hands. Alexei must have worked so hard, he probably devotes his whole body and soul for paid commissions. It's all just my imagination, of course, but based on everything I know about Alexei, I think I've got an idea of how he felt. I guess that must be what Anya likes about him. Several days after that, he said, "I'll take good care of her," and bought it with his own money. We started talking once we'd see each other again for aftermarket service. So he's got some good sides to him after all, huh?
Argalia as the FNAF purple guy will never not be funny to me.
He sure does. He's got way more bad sides, though. That said, this isn't really the time to talk about this, huh? Anyway, please save our child, if you can. Of course.
Of course there's an explosion! Why wouldn't there be an explosion?
Oh snap, that girl just used more than 3 weapons at the same time, didn't she?
We arrive at the explosion's epicenter to find a small crater. A little bit of the foundation remains of what appears to be an annex close to the church. I bet a lot of things happened here, more than I could possibly imagine. Is she not supposed to use more than 3?
Oh, the generator might be under control. The limiter becomes ineffective under a heavy load. I mean, look, she's using the same energy source as the car we all rode on that one time. After all, it's peaky, but powerful, you know? And you don't even need to charge it.
So when the car we were riding on exploded, it must have left a crater like this too, huh? Anya gasps. I can't talk. This is tragic. I follow behind her while carrying Yoru, who's still asleep. I follow Anya's gaze and find what caught her attention.
Alec, your legs! Your ass!
Whoa, Anya? Alexei has lost almost his entire lower body. He probably doesn't have long, but he's so excited when he sees us, it seems like he doesn't even care about death. She came here. I met her. She tried to save me, but then she overheated.
Alec, don't talk. You'll lose blood.
His eyes sparkling, Alexei continues, ignoring even Anya's plea for him to stop.
Okay.
The way she fought was so beautiful, it's a pity you couldn't see. It would have been worth recording. It's such a shame. I can't sell it on disc. By the time the Inquisitors fired their first shot, she'd already swept up 2 of them. It was amazing. Battle heroines are so cool. I can't help but wonder. She was his creation, right? Isn't he going to say anything about how she'd suddenly been installed on a vacuum cleaner?
I can't speak for him, but I can imagine him not caring in the slightest if her body is organic or not. The truth of the matter is that his creation came to save him without any regard for herself. In Alexi's eyes, what matters isn't if your body is human-shaped or vacuum cleaner-shaped, but rather what you do with that body. Maybe, after all, Alexi's area of expertise is software, what's inside, rather than hardware, what's outside. That said, what I think is the most Alexi part of this whole situation is how he's prioritizing praising her efforts rather than mourning her loss. You ladies ever seen a battle robot heroine in action? Of course not, suckers! Ugh, sheesh, you're always a handful, huh? All the excitement surely must have shortened his remaining time. But for some reason, I find it a charming sight to see Anya fussing over Alexi and holding the upper half of his body as he coughs up blood. I'm scared. Scared? What could possibly scare someone like you, Alec? I'm scared of death. It's hard to make out the words Alexi squeezes out. On closer inspection, his hardy pale face is getting even paler. At this point, he's almost like a corpse that forgot he was dead. Don't worry, you'll come back soon. You don't know that. What if I'm the only one who doesn't revive? That's so... Look, you'll be fine. I died myself a while back, but I'm back, see? I'm scared. Please give me some comfort. This is getting kind of awkward. I really don't like the way he said that. I'm also starting to get tired of carrying Yoru. We finally finished what we came here to do, so I wish Alec would just hurry up and kick the bucket already. Men want women to be a mother figure for them, especially in times of weakness. If Anya acts like a mother now, this could be her big chance. Whoa, you're awake? Your back is just so comfortable, Sayoko. Yoru clings tightly to my back as she says that. I decide to leave Alexi alone until he dies. So I watch and pray that Anya can be a proper mother figure, or whatever. You can't just sit on the sidelines, Sayoko. Knowing Anya, she needs your advice. Huh? Oh, Anya, be a good mother. Be open-minded. Mother, what are you talking about? They say if you act motherly when a man is weak, he'll fall for you. Motherly? I don't know what that means. Bah. Alexi murmurs something, but his voice is too weak. Anya asks him to repeat himself, and he speaks up a little more clearly. What's her face, the blonde one? You mean Pacifica? What about her? You can't pull it off, Anya, but I think Pacifica could give me some comfort. She seems so reliable. Like a mother who's usually strict, but will gently tuck you into bed when you catch a cold. So what? without even waiting for him to finish, Anya hurls Alexi's half body into the crater. Alexi's hardy, lightweight body has been cut in half, so it should be easy to throw him, even for someone small like Anya. I can hear Alexi's body sliding down the slope of the crater. This is beautiful. Whoa, he really fell for you! Into the hole! Can you quit joking around and get off of me? Anya urges us to move on, right as I manage to shake off Yoru. Let's go, a crowd's starting to form. When I look around, the crowd's still thin, but ghosts are starting to gather around to see if everything's okay. Some of them must be church followers, too. In any case, I don't want to stay here too long. What's with all the explosions lately? That's what I want to know. When I hear the crowd of ghosts having conversations like these, I can't help but smile Riley. They've got a point. Are we going to call Pacifica? Do you want to call her?
Anya's threatening response lacks her usual blend of friendliness and charm as she glares at Yoru with the sharpness of a knife. The shock causes Yoru to take a step back and mumble, which is quite a precious sight for me to see. Wait, no, I shouldn't just watch. Sorry, Hanya, I'll be sure to kill Yoru for you later. She'll get her just desserts. I'm so sorry about that. I consider prostrating myself before Anya's facial expression suddenly slackens. Oh, I was just joking. Don't worry about it. I just feel like I've just been in a traffic accident. You two feel that I can't read. Oh my god. Okay. I have 4 minutes. I can do this. You two feel the same way, don't you? Yoru says, oh, okay, and starts giggling again, so I slap her ass before we follow after Anya, who's already starting to walk off. Nothing like an ass slap between girls, am I right? Pacifica's not the motherly type. Men like him just want to delude themselves into having the wrong impression of her. He doesn't have a discerning eye, huh?
There's a reason why he's not popular.
Thus closes the curtain on our mission to get technical help for crossing the snow desert. Whether it ended in success or failure, we can't tell. It's not our call to make, after all. The decision lies with...
Oh no! Is that the end? No! Is that the end? Is that the end? No! No! It can't be over! I'm devastated! What? I wasn't expecting it to be over. I thought I had at least 1 or 2 more. What the fuck am I supposed to do now? Hear me out, stream Ghostpia again, but with Nobel. Do you think I could actually convince him? I'm so upset. Oh, he's got the Gendo Ikari going on. I respect it. Thank you all for gathering today. The gang's all here. Lexi's house looks like a mess, probably because the automatic cleaning robot's gone. The workshop's even more of a mess than when we first came here. Wasted on random boxes and large cans, and such as we talk with Alexi. We'd gathered at Alexi's house a few days after his bisection. I glanced at Pacifica's face. She hadn't had much to do with this whole mission, so...
Why didn't you call me? I would have abandoned work in a heartbeat to come help you.
She's been this huffing mad ever since we gathered. It's been making me feel a bit uneasy. You ladies helped me, now it's my turn to help you.
Thank you, Alec.
Don't mention it. I'm only doing what's expected of me. I stole another glance at Pacifica's face. To be honest, when Hanya contacted us, she already told us that Alec was going to help. So this meeting is kind of like watching a movie after hearing spoilers. That's what it feels like, anyway. So I'm way more interested in seeing how Pacifica feels. I can't help but wonder what her take on the matter is.
So, do you have a plan? Let's hear it.
As Anya urges Alexi, it makes me feel like she truly is the moderator for this meeting. Despite all the dumb things that have happened lately, she still does her best to give both us and Alexi proper care and respect. It's touching.
Alright, I do have a plan. Want to hear it? I want to hear it.
Yoru answers loudly. She initially seemed to have her doubts about Alexi, but it doesn't look that way anymore. She looks like the usual sociable Yoru. I haven't had a complicated conversation with Yoru ever since the night we went to dispose of Clara's dead body. I wonder if that has anything to do with it. As I spaced out, Alexi clears his throat to start speaking. I concentrate my scattered focus into one point and listen closely to what Alexi has to say.
First of all, from what I heard from Anya, there's a huge oversight in your lady's plan. The part where you're going somewhere without knowing where, that's no good. You're basically lowering your own chances of success. We don't know where we're going, so what do you expect us to do? We don't have a map or GPS, so we figured our only option was to go aimlessly.
Pacifica answers with the tone of someone asked to add two-digit numbers. Yes, this is it. The reassuring feeling that Pacifica gives off. Just being in her presence makes me feel twice as powerful. Oh, really? Alexei grins, sticks out his index finger and points up. We all look at the ceiling. It's high up and has fancy lights, which makes me think, wow, this really is a nice house, but that's it. I don't get what we're supposed to be looking at.
My thinking is that before you look outwards, you should look upwards.
Pacifica gasps. I still don't get it. Maybe I'm not concentrating hard enough.
We'll launch a rocket.
Oh my god. A rocket, huh?
It's true, we have no maps nor satellites to rely on in this town. Radio waves are also a non-starter. In that case, we just have to make make maps of our own. We'll launch a rocket and get a bird's eye view. Once we know the surrounding terrain and distances, that's when we can finally stand at the starting line.
Wow. I'm easily impressed, but I really do think it's impressive. He's got a point. We may have been a little too haphazard with our approach. Alexi's brain quickly noticed our plan's weak spot, and that was the weak spot that was in our blind spot, and gave a suggestion to rectify it. This might actually work. I'm honestly excited.
So that's what you were thinking, huh?
Pacifica speaks without any change in her tone at all. Alexei must have been expecting some sort of reaction too, as he just mumbles, yeah, in response. Meanwhile, hearing Pacifica's voice sends my inner monologue into overdrive. Building a rocket would be difficult, wouldn't it? But then again, they did manage to build a robot, kinda.
It's a good plan, I'd say.
The air of tension instantly dissipates, and I realize that I've forgotten to breathe. Looks like Anya's the same way, as I can see her shoulders move as she takes a deep breath. There's no way a plan can fail if Alexei's thought it up and Pacifica's given her approval. At least that's what I think. I'm sure Anya approves of the plan too. That just leaves one person.
Hey, what's with the look, Sayoko? It's a rocket we're talking about. Rockets are cool!
They are, as long as they don't explode, that is.
Oh, you know what they say, toast lands better side down, so you gotta make sure the toast doesn't fall.
I just did that this morning.
Oh yeah, that was a huge explosion, huh? Stop jinxing it.
We're all unanimously in favor of Alexei's plan, but he says we need to regroup at a later date after he works out the finer details. A later date, huh? We have no reason to refuse, so we accept his proposal. He then pretty much kicks us out, but it doesn't feel bad at all. As for why?
There's a cafe we like to go to, so let's hold our next meeting there.
I've never been to a cafe before.
Just come with us and check it out. We need to learn more about each other.
Okay, I suppose you're right. It's probably because I get to hear that conversation as we leave the house since I'm at the back of the line. When I speak up, Alexei quietly offers me a seat, acting as if he knew I wanted to talk. I tell him that I wanted to keep it short since Pacific and the others are waiting for me outside. In response, he asks me what's wrong. Are you sure about this? Obviously, I'm referring to how the life Alexei was trying to bring into this world came to an abrupt end. In the end, she couldn't use the body you worked so hard to create. And she even broke the body she did end up using, and now she's gone. I think we failed you, so I didn't expect you to help us. If you do think we failed and are still helping us out of a sense of obligation, then... Why so negative, lol? Who are you, me? Alexei laughs out loud after saying that. I'd rather not listen to his guffawing for another second, so I press him to continue.
Please don't mock me. I wanted to be helpful in the end. Oh yeah, I definitely had regrets when I had my lower half blown off. For one, I regretted asking you ladies for help. Do you remember what happened back then? How Anya looked after you? A little bit. You were there too, weren't you? Honestly, my memory's a little hazy. Did I say something strange? No, not really. Please continue. I woke up at the garbage dump and... Yeah, death's not actually a big deal, huh? Easy peasy. Then I went home, there was evidence that someone used my workshop. I knew right away it was your roommate. Well, yeah. That's when I did a system check and found a letter from her hidden somewhere in the server. That's when I knew the experiment was a success. I don't know if I should ask, but what did the letter say? Lexi said, "Oh, it's nothing, really," before continuing to tell me anyway. She said, "Obviously, don't even think of trying to make another me. That should go without saying." Oh, that's nice. The last thing she told me was that I was dumb, so that sounds like a believable letter. That said, I feel like she's got a surprising amount of love for Alexi. At least that's the impression I got from what little time I spent with her. Nice. Alexi looks at me with his eyes popped wide open. Sorry, As I stumble with my words, his face starts to warp in ecstasy. I want to get out of here. I guess he really is a dreadful person after all. Oh god. Moe! Huh? That was incredibly Moe, you know. I'm glad you came. That's a word from your home country, right? She started with obvious and ended with that should go without saying, really emphasizing her point, you know. That's a cliche among advanced AI heroines, and that's what makes them so classic, you know. You really do need counseling soon. This is what Moe means, right? It's gotta be. I won in your face, suckers! Who did you win against exactly? Every otaku who's ever dreamed of romance with artificial intelligence. Congratulations. This is what the world was meant for. Was it really romance, though? Maybe it was familial love or something. But then again, I can just imagine yours saying, what men perceive as romance isn't necessarily romance, while giving me a thumbs up. I see. Makes sense. Are you going to remake her once things have calmed down? What kind of jerk would see something like that and have the gall to think they could make a sequel? I let out a small sigh of relief. Lexi's motivations may be beyond my grasp, but at least he's not completely unreasonable. What I gained and lost here was both life and death. I was able to create both. I may have been excommunicated by the church, but it looks like I've been spared by God, for now. Despite his triumphant words, Alexi's face quickly darkens. I thought he'd long since stopped caring about reproducing God's work. To create life is to have ambitions for the future. To create death is to obtain a certain sort of repose. My bad. As I created her, I thought I could help out Ghost in that regard. I was conceited. Yes, he did indeed mention that when he was creating her. But now that I've lost her, I realize that death is sad. I can't, oh my god, my nose. I can't ever see her again. I can't ever reclaim her. I can't even thank her for all she's done. Oh my god. It makes me want to be a hero. And I'm not in enough pain to actually die. We're not designed poorly enough that we die just because of that. Lol. But then again, we don't die for any reason, TBH. And hero! My bad, and hero. I think about her before I sleep, even though I know I can't sleep when I think about her. When I finally do go to sleep, I dream of her, and each time I wake up, I feel despair. Somehow, I just know that this will continue forever. Lexi's truly grieving. It's disorienting how much it feels like someone actually died. I feel like I've lost someone close to me once in the far distant past, too. No idea who or when that was. But I just get the feeling. I can't figure it out. But Lexi turns around and sits at his desk, but he doesn't touch his keyboard or mouse. His chair creaks and then he cries.
Despite getting beaten to death literally and emotionally, I'm glad I got to meet her. I feel that something like this has happened before. I'm guessing here, has a woman just like her, but I'm pretty sure I did something similar back then, too. Just as she was special to you, I feel like you were special to her. I'm sure she was glad she got to meet you. Or maybe I wanted to, but couldn't. Honestly, I wanted to talk with her again, too. When she felt like it, that is. I don't think there's any need for me to say that, though, so I leave it as a mental note. I should get going already. The Ghostpia writer really said, I know writers who use subtext and they're cowards. Amen! I head back to my friends with the sound of Alexi's sobs at my back. Once I get to the entrance...
Sayoko, you really are such a good girl.
Huh? Pacifica embraces me with tears welling in her eyes.
What you said was so touching, Sayoko, so tear-jerking. What's your secret to deliver such iconic lines? Do you take notes or something?
Anya gives me a round of applause.
Alex said it was romance, but... Ow! Ma'am? Please don't claw my butt. What men perceive as romance isn't necessarily romance, you know?
You already said that.
Huh?
This conversation's getting out of hand, so I slip out of Pacifica's arms, kick open the front door, and rush outside. Okay, let's go home already. Everyone turns around and starts running their mouths as they run after me. I'm not comfortable leading the group, so I let Pacifica take the lead. I stop in my tracks, close my eyes, and take a deep breath. The pitch-black world spreading out behind my eyelids reminds me of the specter of death looming around Alexi's house. I feel that what Alexi experienced was only one side of death. In death, there's those who are dearly departed, and those who the departed hold dear. Alexi is the latter. In fact, as long as he is a ghost, he can never truly become the former. The same goes for me. I think about the other side of death, the side that I can never reach. But what if I could? I could have been shot to death when I went to go save Yoru, blown to bits in the car explosion when we tried to leave town, or impaled through the head by Renja's spider. Any one of those things would have been the end for me. I wouldn't have been able to save anyone, but I wouldn't have to suffer anymore. Nothing could threaten me anymore. I can feel the darkness behind my eyelids sink into my heart. I've been caught in the allure of death and cannot escape its grasp. Death is all too peaceful. As someone who cannot die, the allure of death is spine-chilling. Could it be that I want...
Sayoko! It's so sweet. I'm going to die. It's so sweet.
A bundle of warmth slams into me, almost causing me to tumble over. Whoa, I stumble a few steps back. I open my eyes to find Yoru.
What's wrong, Sayoko? Let's go home.
Saying that, she holds my hand. It's not warm at all. Her hand is as cold as mine. It's cold outside, after all. A few meters behind Yoru stands Pacifica and Anya, my precious, precious friends, smiling at me. I smile back. I'm a little sleepy and hungry. We laugh. Yoru pulls me by the hand as we leap into the laughter. Death is an attractive concept to me. The peacefulness of death grabs my attention and won't let go. I don't think I'm in any rush to die. I mean, just look at everything I have to cherish. That's just naturally how I feel. That's how I feel despite everything that I am. I really do feel that way. I'm happy that I can feel that way. I wish that I could feel this way forever. I wish. That's now my dream. In my dreams, I can get out. In my dreams, I can fit in.
Damn. It's too good, right? Like, something this good shouldn't exist. Please convince Novell, please. Y'all really want Ghostpia again? I mean, maybe I can. Maybe I can convince him. I mean, it's so short. And we dropped Catherine, right? Use Ruby against him. We should give a copy of Ghostpia to the Pope like Undertale. We should. Although I'm not so sure the Pope would appreciate this. Man. I wasn't expecting this to end today. Voices. Me! The fact that you of all people seem to love it is a lot is a glowing review for me. Look, this is incredible. It's really short. It's so short. Like, everything takes me twice as long because I'm reading it like out loud. So at most, it would probably take an average reader like 7-ish hours to read. If that, it's just so good. Never mind all my stalling. Ugh. This is gonna be another thing that I'm gonna start whoring out to everyone that I can. Anyone who will listen. What a fucking tragedy that this isn't more popular. I should be seeing people talk about this everywhere I go. Huh? To be fair, I do feel that way about Necro Barista too. But you know. Necro Barista is great, but like, this is a different beast altogether. A full walkthrough of the game on YouTube with no commentary is 10 hours and 44 minutes too. I mean, I could also do it with my other little friend group in Nova server like I attempted with Lamia before, you know? I need to contribute fan art of Ghostpia to the world. I wonder how much there exists. How much even exists? There must be some, right? Some fandom, some following, right? Am I being optimistic? Because, well, so we returned to Impreg. That's not a mark I want to leave on the world. Sadly, the fandom is as small as Nosia's, if that. Well, I think it says something that I'd actually heard of Nosia, and not this. So I feel like that says something. I mean, like, I guess Nosia kind of has the draw of being visual novel Among Us, basically. So that's kind of a marketing point that's going to catch people's attention. But this shouldn't even need that. Just look at it. Just look at it. That's all you need. Just look at it. We gotta go grassroots for this shit, honestly. God. It's been a long journey. But who would have thought I'd get this far? That train started in a land far, far away.
Listen!
Jesus. This is the kind of game where if you post fan art on Twitter and tag it as Ghostpia, the official Twitter page will likely retweet it. I love it when that happens to me. I get so excited. I'm just like, the guy who I like has seen what I made. And that's always exciting. The train started in a land far, far away, heading even further. But all journeys must come to an end. I sit by myself in a small seat and clench my fist. I'll see you soon. Inside the train, the clattering of the railroad ties gets suddenly drowned out by an announcement. The announcement: the train will soon arrive at the next station, the terminal. I make sure I've got my single travel bag as I look out the window.
A setting sun seems to weigh down the horizon as I spot a long, sprawling fence that almost looks like a solid wall. I've heard many times before that this town was surrounded by a fence, so I already knew about it. She's on the other side of that fence. Just thinking about it makes my heart feel like it's on fire. I've had to sacrifice so many things in order to come here. But that just makes the journey all the more valuable. It feels like the whole world has existed solely to lead up to this day. I think those thoughts as I watch the town's perimeter fence slowly approach. It's dark by the time I get out of the station. A cold breeze blows and I suddenly want to go home. This is a ghost town. It's certainly lonely enough to have earned that name. Despite my reluctance, I quickly remember why I came here. To fulfill her wish. It's a promise I have to keep. I whisper to myself, I've come to see you.
Well, thank you for reading.
Hey,
You're welcome. I do look forward to the continuation. Well, damn. Nothing to do except read it again. It's officially over. Yeah, now what? What now?
Hey, listen!
You know how Novelle mentioned pink blindness? I think it's contagious. Join me in the hell that is waiting for season 2. Now I get to upload the finale. Don't jinx it. I'm kind of hoping that one of the random conspiracy theories that they pitched ends up being completely true. That's what I'm hoping for. I just think that'd be really funny. I mean, they were definitely, like, with that whole, spiel, they were trying to get us to start thinking about it and to start theorizing,
listen.
which I honestly think is a really clever way to start pushing the reader in that direction. Anyway, man, what an experience. It's so good. Ugh. Unfair. I wasn't prepared for it to be over. I think this is the afterlife IMO. I mean, that's what we've certainly been led to believe, at the very least.
Hey, listen!
Yeah, you have channel points. Well, I have a stop streaming button, and I'm not afraid to use it. In fact, I'm going to. Because I'm hungry. And tired. And, no, I'm not.